Welcome to the Legend of Zelda Timeline Part 3, A Future Without Link. In Part 2, we saw what events unfolded after Link defeated Ganon and returned to his childhood. Armed with knowledge from the future, Link was able to stop Ganon from taking over Hyrule in his time. But what about the world of the future Link was sent away from? When Zelda decided to send him back to the past, she unintentionally created an entirely new timeline, existing separately from the one she sent Link back to. This new timeline saw the world freed from 7 years of Ganon's rule, but also a world where Link no longer existed. The legend of the Hero of Time freeing the world from darkness was passed on from generation to generation. But as the ages passed, Ganon found a way to break free from the Sacred Realm, now known as the Dark World, as he promised he would so long ago. Enraged that he was sealed away for so long, and with a heart full of vengeance, Ganon brought destruction to the land of Hyrule. The people, relying on the legend of the Hero of Time, prayed that he would return and save them. But when Zelda sent Link back to the past, she interrupted the cycle of the hero's spirit being reborn in a young man, and a hero never appeared to defend them. The gods took it upon themselves to stop the evil from spreading, and decided to flood the world. They ordered the people of Hyrule to retreat to the highest mountains, and the king of Hyrule at the time decided to stay behind, and gave his daughter Zelda a piece of the Triforce of Wisdom, which had been broken in two. He sent her up into the mountains with her caregivers, so the royal bloodline could live on. It rained non-stop until the entire kingdom was flooded, sealing away Ganon and all of Hyrule under the massive new ocean. Hundreds of years passed, and the kingdom of Hyrule was forgotten at the bottom of the sea. The world was covered in a massive ocean known as the Great Sea, and the people who once belonged to Hyrule had spread throughout the centuries across the mountaintops, now a series of islands. Ganon had somehow found a way onto the surface and ordered his minions to kill the sages in the Earth and Wind Temple, whose prayers gave the hidden Master Sword the power to destroy evil. The gods, sensing that Ganon had returned, awakened the spirit of the King of Hyrule, who stayed behind while the kingdom was flooded, and he took the form of a small red boat called the King of Red Lions. The King of Red Lions began searching for a new hero that could destroy Ganon, and the descendant of Princess Zelda, who had grown up as the leader of a group of pirates, and called herself Tetra. This leads us into the events of the Legend of Zelda the Wind Waker. One of Ganon's first acts was to take control of a giant bird called the Helmerach King, and ordered him to kidnap young girls from different islands in an effort to find the descendant of Princess Zelda. On Outset Island, a young boy called Link lived with his grandmother and little sister Errol. On this island, it was customary for boys to wear clothes similar to the Hero of Time when they reached a certain age. And one day, the Helmerach King made his way to the island and took Link's sister away. After gaining a sword and his family shield, Link set off to go find his sister, and met the group of pirates led by Tetra. He joined them after they revealed they knew Ganon was taking all of the kidnapped girls to the Forsaken Fortress. After failing to save his sister, the King of Red Lions found Link and sensed the courage inside the boy. Could he be the hero returned? The king gave Link the Wind Waker, an ancient baton that was once used to send prayers to the gods by using songs. Link jumped on the boat, and they both set off to go find his sister. Sailing around the Great Sea and facing many trials, Link collected the 3 pearls representing the goddesses that created Hyrule, which raised the Temple of the Gods from the ocean floor. The many tests that Link would face in the Tower of the Gods would prove whether he had enough courage to be the hero. After proving himself, the gods recognized Link as the new hero, and opened a portal down to the Kingdom of Hyrule sealed away so long ago underwater. Finding himself inside the sunken castle Hyrule, Link found the Master Sword and was able to wield it, proving that he was the hero of this time. With the Master Sword in hand, Link rushed to go face Ganon. But since the sages that kept the sword powered were dead, The Master Sword was powerless to harm Ganon. Ganon also realized that Tetra was Princess Zelda's descendant, and they barely escaped with their lives. The King of Red Lions invited Tetra and Zelda back to the Master Sword Chamber, and revealed that he was the King of Hyrule himself. The piece of the Triforce of Wisdom he carried, and the piece that Tetra carried around her neck, united, and she was awakened as Princess Zelda, the descendant of the royal family. She was told to stay inside the castle where she was safe, since Ganon knew her real identity and was actively looking for her. And the spirits of the deceased sages guided Link to the people who would replace them. Medley of Dragon Roost Island was awakened as the Sage of Earth, and Makar of the Forest Haven was awakened as the Sage of Wind. Together, the two sages sent songs as prayers to the gods, and the Master Sword regained its sacred power. Link was also told that the Triforce of Courage was broken long ago, and it was his duty to find all the scattered pieces and restore it. Sailing across the vast ocean, Link was able to gather all of the pieces. Ganon found his way back into Hyrule and took Princess Zelda to his tower, also deep in the ocean, and lured Link there in order to unite the Triforce once again. When Link arrived with his piece of the Triforce, the complete Triforce appeared, and Ganon's plan was about to come to fruition. He wanted to wish that Hyrule would be resurrected from the ocean floor so he could take it over as his own kingdom. As he was about to touch the Triforce and make his wish come true, the king appeared and touched the Triforce first, wishing that Hyrule would be washed away permanently, and hoped this would give a new generation a chance to escape from the kingdom's struggles. Enraged, Ganon attacked Link and Zelda. Together they teamed up, and as Zelda distracted Ganon with golden light arrows, Link attacked him with the Master Sword. Ganon slowly turned into stone, and Hyrule was completely washed away by the Great Sea. As the waters came down, the king decided to vanish along with his old kingdom, and helped Link and Zelda escape to the surface. Link returned back to his home on Outset Island, and said goodbye to his family as he left with Zelda and the rest of the pirates in the hopes of discovering a new land in which the Kingdom of Hyrule could start over. This ends the story of The Wind Waker. Several months passed, and Link and Zelda, going by her pirate name Tetra again, explored a new ocean. The waters of this ocean were under the jurisdiction of a spirit called the Ocean King, and were also full of life force, a power found within all living beings. The energy from the life force attracted a monster called Bellum, and Bellum began consuming the life force of the people that lived here in order to become more powerful. The Ocean King fought back, but was locked away at the bottom of the Temple of the Ocean King, and Bellum filled the temple with his minions. Bellum used the life force of the Ocean King to create new monsters, and also imprisoned the Spirit of Power and the Spirit of Wisdom, who also existed in this ocean. Craving more power, Bellum created a ghost ship that spread rumors of a treasure hidden within it, in order to lure people into getting their life force stolen. This brings us to the events of The Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass. In the waters of the Ocean King, ships had been disappearing, and Tetra heard of the ghost ship rumored to be filled with treasure. To find out if the rumors were true, Tetra found the ghost ship and boarded it, only to be kidnapped. Link rushed to rescue her, but he was thrown into the ocean. He found himself washed ashore on the beach of Murkay Island. Here he met an old man named Oshus, and upon getting his advice, Link set off to find clues on the whereabouts of the ghost ship. Link also met a fairy named Ciela, who was actually the Spirit of Courage in disguise, and a sailor called Captain Linebeck. Link sailed away with his new friends on the ship, the SS Linebeck, and traveled to the Temple of the Ocean King with the Phantom Hourglass, which had the power to manipulate time and was necessary to pass through the temple safely. Link rescued the spirits of power and wisdom and freed the Spirit of Courage. Borrowing their power, Link was able to board the ghost ship, which was actually the stronghold of the creature Bellum. He found Tetra turned to stone after Bellum had drained her life force. The old man Oshus appeared to Link and revealed his true identity as the Ocean King. He recognized Link's courage and asked him to destroy Bellum. He needed to forge the only weapon capable of destroying Bellum, the Phantom Sword, by finding 3 pure metals found in different regions. After finding the 3 pure metals, Link was able to forge the Phantom Sword, and added the power of the Phantom Hourglass to it. Link knew that the only way to restore Tetra back to normal was to destroy Bellum with the Phantom Sword. Link faced off against Bellum and defeated him, barely escaping with his life. destroying Bellum, the Ocean King regained his true form, and peace returned to his waters. Tetra, Link, and the pirates continued their search for a new land. This ends the events of the Phantom Hourglass. During this time, in a faraway land protected by the spirits of good, a demon king called Malladus rose up and terrorized the population. The spirits didn't have enough power to destroy him, and decided the only way to save the world was to lock Malladus away. They drove his spirit into an underground prison and created shackles that spread across the land that would eventually be known as the Spirit Tracks. The Spirit Track shackles connected to a tower known as the Tower of Spirits, which acted as a lock for the prison Malladus was contained in. The tower resided in the very heart of the land, and was powered by 4 temples spread across the world. As long as the Tower of Spirits and the Spirit Tracks remained intact, Malladus couldn't escape his prison. Link and Tetra discovered this land and brought other settlers with them after Malladus had already been sealed. The spirits of good, with their powers depleted, returned to the heavens and left their servants, the Locomo tribe, to protect the land. Before leaving, they gave the land over to Link, Tetra, and the other Hyrulean settlers as their own, and together they established the Kingdom of New Hyrule, with Tetra as the new Princess Zelda and ruler of the kingdom. About 100 years later, the Kingdom of New Hyrule is flourishing. The soldiers of New Hyrule adopted a green uniform in honor of Link, who helped found the land. The great-great-granddaughter of Tetra was the new Princess Zelda, and the chains that helped contain the Demon King Malladus were turned into railroads, where a new technology called a train could be used. This leads us to the events of The Legend of Zelda: Spirit Tracks. Princess Zelda realized that pieces of the Spirit Tracks were starting to disappear all over New Hyrule. She sought the help of a young train engineer named Link, and gave him a green soldier's uniform so he can help her sneak out of the castle. Together, they met up with another train engineer named Alfonso, and they headed to the Tower of Spirits to investigate. On their way to the tower, they realized that the Chancellor of New Hyrule, Chancellor Cole, was attempting to free the Demon King Malladus from his prison. He planned to use Princess Zelda's body as a vessel for Malladus and ordered his minion Byrne, a member of the Locomo tribe, to kidnap her. Byrne kidnapped Princess Zelda, and her spirit separated from her body. Link and the Spirit of Zelda received orders from Angian, the sage of the Locomo tribe, that watched over the tower to stop Malladus from returning. The barrier of the Tower of Spirits dissipated, the tower itself was divided, and the tracks continued disappearing. It was only a matter of time before Malladus was freed, and the tower's guardians, the Phantoms, were taken over by demons, but Princess Zelda's spirit was able to enter one of them to aid Link in his quest. To reach the top of the power where the Demon King's spirit slept, they would need to restore the barriers of the temple connecting the Spirit Tracks together. Link and Zelda used the Spirit Train that was stored in the tower to travel around New Hyrule, and borrowed the sage's powers. Using the power of the sages, Link was able to restore the barriers to the temples and went back to the Tower of Spirits. And once he reached the top, he realized that Malladus had already been resurrected, and used the demon train to travel back into the Dark Realm, a dark world where the demons gathered their power. Link and Zelda traveled to the Dark Realm and faced Malladus. He took control of Zelda's body as he originally planned, but Link was able to banish him from her body. During the battle, the demon train is destroyed and all of them are thrown out of the Dark Realm, and Malladus entered the body of his ally, Chancellor Cole, transforming him into a monstrous beast. After a long battle, Link and Zelda worked together to plunge the magical Locomo sword into the head of Malladus, destroying him and Chancellor Cole in the process. Now that the Demon King was eradicated, the Locomo tribe determined that New Hyrule no longer needed their protection, and they returned to the heavens. The protection of the land was entrusted to Princess Zelda and Link, and peace at last returned. This ends the story of Spirit Tracks, and the sequences of events started when Link left the world of the future behind at the end of Ocarina of Time. These events saw the world of Hyrule washed away by the Great Sea, and a new Hyrule established and freed from the terror of a new Demon King. Future stories of this timeline are waiting to be told. But wait a minute here. The majority of the Legend of Zelda games are still missing from the 2 timelines we've gone over. Where are they, and why did I leave them out? Find out when you join me in Part 4 of the Legend of Zelda timeline, Link's Failure.